Warner, GorillaMaker.com. Today we're going to talk about flexible filament. Normally, when somebody asks me about NinjaFlex, which is a brand, and flexible filament, this is a flexible filament. It has a little bit of a stretch to it. Not much, but it bends really, really easy. We've been printing with this for a long time. This stuff works great in our machine. A customer the other day told me about a brand called NinjaFlex. This, as you can see, is like a rubber band. This doesn't even stand up very well. I mean, it's just so flexible. So you can imagine the challenges of 3D printing this. This is our solution. We're going to take a close-up right here. You'll see where our extruder has a gap here between this and our hot end mount. We're going to take this piece of material, which is aluminum, and we're going to slide that in there and use this bolt right here to hold it in place. That will align our filament. There is an up and down to this part. If you can look at it, you'll see where that's just rounded off, and this has a taper on it. The taper goes up, so when the filament comes down, it can self-align properly. So let's go ahead and install this. I'm going to take a 2.5 millimeter Allen. I'm going to loosen this up. I'm going to loosen this one up, this one, and this one. Just enough where they become, where you can see where they can move around. I'm going to loosen up this back screw right here, and the front screw, I'm going to take it completely out. Alrighty. Now you can see from the camera there that everything's kind of loose. So we're going to take this part with the little bevel up and slide it very easily right into there, centering that hole with that assembly. Then we'll drop the same screw down in here till we get it to fit. Take our wrench and start tightening that down. And you can see where that went right into the grooves. And what I'm going to do is just on this adapter, you'll want to make sure it's even on both sides. And you can see that this is sticking out just a little bit on both these sides. So you'll tighten that down pretty tight. And you want to tighten it down monkey tight, not gorilla tight. Gorilla tight's just a little bit too tight for this. You don't want to strip any screws out. This flexible material is pretty neat. You can print tubes, you can print bracelets, you can print toys that are flexible. It's very neat what it can do. So that's half our battle. Now, before I started the video, I already turned on the extruder. And if you look down at the control panel, we're going to run this through our right extruder. And I set the temperature, it looks like about 227-ish is the set point. So I'm at my set point right now. I'm going to lower the bed. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can press the enter button, scroll all the way down to the first menu that says Move Z Axis Fast. Press it again and start turning it clockwise. And we want to turn it down to about 110 millimeters. The reason will be very clear in a moment. See how that fits up in there now and gets right to the hot end tip? So what we're going to do in your toolbox, you're going to have one of two types of wrenches. You're either going to have an adjustable wrench, or you're going to have a manufactured wrench by us. You'll take that and you'll clamp it onto the hot end. And the reason it's called a hot end because it's got heat, so don't burn yourself. Take the nut driver up and spin that out. So this is the hot end tip that we just took out. That's going to be very, very hot. This is a 0.4 that we took out. So we're just going to dump it down in the tray here. Now we're going to take our new tip And for the NinjaFlex brand, we're going to use either a 0.6 or a 0.8. The physical tip is larger. This is a 0.6. It works pretty good. I would use either a 6 or an 8. The 8's my favorite. I just happen to have a 6 here. I'll put that back in the nut driver just like this. I'll take it down here and hold that piece with the wrench and screw that right back in where you took it out. Now remember, the hot end's hot, otherwise you wouldn't be able to put this part in. Now we have our new hot end in, tip. It's a 0.6 for this exercise. We're going to take our filament, and you can see how stretchy that is. That's that NinjaFlex. It's amazing. I'm going to cut this off a little bit of an angle. I've already, as you can see, I have my roll here. I've already fed it up through here, through this feed tube. And I know a bunch of people's going to say, hey, why do you have it on the left and why are you feeding it into the right? The simple answer is I was simply too lazy to put the other piece on here. Your printer should have both these on here. I'm going to push that down there as far as I can get it until I touch that gear. And you're going to be able to feel that. Now either from your slicer program or from down here, we're going to press the menu button. We're going to go over to prepare. We're going to go all the way down to move axis. And we're going to go down to 1 millimeter. And then we're going to go over to right extruder. Now we're going to turn this clockwise. Now we're going to show you up here where that material, you'll feel that is fed in there. You'll feel it moving as you turn the knob. Now don't get overzealous here and turn the knob 100 millimeters. Turn it really slow and let it stop. And that's just feeding in there really slow. It might be difficult for you to see that's pulling it down there. I'll pinch that so it can tug on me a little bit. See how my finger's getting closer there. Now I'm not pinched it hard enough where I'm pulling back. I just want to know it's feeding. The reason I'm using the right extruder instead of the left, I don't know the technical reason, but something to do with how the right turns counterclockwise opposed to the left turning clockwise. It actually feeds better, and we don't have any jams that way. Something we just observed. So I always use the NinjaFlex in the right heater. Now you can look right down here on our hot end tip, and you can see all that coming down. So I'm going to spin the roll backwards so it can take up. If you notice, so I've pulled the spool backwards, it kind of pulls up the slack so I can push our tubing down into the connector. And I'm just going to let some of it run out to make sure it's not jamming, it's not bunching up. If you get your NinjaFlex where it gets all tangled into a knot inside of our extruder right here, you may have the wrong tip. And what you want to do is go up the next size tip. So that's done extruding, it looks like. I'll just pick this up. This is, I mean, look at how cool this is. It bounces right back into its original shape. This is amazing stuff. Now you can, I mean, I have so much pressure on that. I can't break it. I find that to be very amazing. So there's some rules of thumbs. A, you want to make sure when you're using NinjaFlex that you have the right size tip. You have the machine speed turned down to accommodate the NinjaFlex. And your bed's only heated to about either 50 or 60 C. The Ninja website says you don't have to do any of this on the temperature, but I found that it just doesn't have any lifting problem at all with just a little bit of heat, just like PLA. I'm Glenn Warner, GorillaMaker.com. Think bigger, think professional, unleash your Gorilla. I hope this has helped you understand the brand of flexible material called NinjaFlex. We have a great time with it. You can print amazing stuff. Have a great day.